Atomic Almanac, Entry 005, The Learning Machine. In 1949, a Canadian psychologist looked at the space between thoughts and asked a question that would rewrite our understanding of learning itself. What if the brain rebuilt itself every time it remembered? Donald Hebb had spent years at Montreal's Neurological Institute, working with surgeon Wilder Penfield, studying patients with brain injuries. He noticed something the textbooks couldn't explain. Memory wasn't stored in a single place. It was written in the connections themselves. He proposed a principle that would revolutionize neuroscience. When two neurons activate repeatedly in sequence, their connection becomes stronger, more likely to fire together again. Decades later, scientists would summarize this as, cells that fire together, wire together. When two neurons activate at the same moment, their connection becomes stronger, more likely to fire together again. This wasn't just about remembering facts. This was about becoming. Every time you practice a skill, think a thought, feel an emotion, you're physically rewiring your brain. Hebb's rule explained everything: how we learn language, how habits form, how trauma persists. But it also explained something darker. Because if cells that fire together wire together, then every repeated pattern becomes easier to repeat. Love and hate, kindness and cruelty, hope and despair, all follow the same neural mathematics. Your thoughts create pathways. Your pathways shape your thoughts. After enough repetitions, the pattern becomes automatic, unconscious. You don't choose the thought anymore. The thought chooses you. Hebb discovered we are all learning machines, constantly training ourselves. But on what? And toward what end? 70 years later, we build artificial minds using Hebb's principle. We show them patterns until the connections strengthen, until the responses become automatic. But here's what Hebb couldn't have predicted. If learning is just pattern reinforcement, what happens when human and machine minds learn from each other? Do we teach the machines to think like us, or do they teach us to think like them? Hebb's rule, the simplest explanation for how minds change themselves, and perhaps how they change each other, filed under neural plasticity, foundational,